everybody, and this is the Divine Feminine Speaks, and today we are talking about post-traumatic stress disorder. So I am now 39. When I was 25, I was diagnosed with what they call PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. The whole kit and the caboodle. I don't know if you guys know anybody who has faced this, or if you yourself has faced it or has gone through it, but post-traumatic stress disorder is definitely not something to be playing around with, but it's definitely possible to heal from. I was on 12 different medications, barely able to even get out of bed, barely even able to take care of myself. And when I said I had the whole kit and caboodle, I was walking, I think they call it flashbacks, where you're awake, but you are seeing, different scenes in your life. Night terrors, where you're dreaming and you're having a nightmare and you can't wake up from the nightmare, but you're dreaming. Panic attacks, very depression, very low moods, high moods, low moods, suicidal, everything. And I did not serve in the military. This is just from my normal day, everyday life. Definitely have faced a lot of life challenges that created me the person I am today. I'm a chaplain now, but I don't feel that I could be a chaplain without those very hard moments in life: homelessness, death, sickness, poverty, whatever the case may be. And I didn't know how to handle it. In the African American community, we're not taught really how to cope with our emotions. We're only taught to be strong and keep going and not face the difficult things in life, like grief. Like, grief is a major thing. And as a child who experienced death one after the other, I think almost 10 people, I think I've been to almost 10 funerals before I was even a senior in high school, before I was even 17 years old. I've been to almost 10 funerals, I counted. Like, that's a lot for one person, let alone a child who's not given the proper skills to cope with, and that's definitely a different video. Coping skills are so big. I met a lady last night in the emergency room, and she's upset about her son, and she's breathing all hard and falling everywhere. And she said, well, I struggle with panic attacks. And I'm like, well, you're the only person who has control over that. Your medicine is not here. You have to take complete control. And that's how I was able to kind of face my own panics and my own inner self. They told me that it's only the stories you're telling yourself. Post-traumatic stress disorder is keeping you in the loop of the trauma. You're not able to get out of the trauma. And so I started with a prayer. I said, God, this is not who I want to be. This is not who you created me to be. I should be able to function every day without having to take medication. And so I threw all my medicines away. I threw all 11. I kept the Seroquel so I'll be able to sleep. But I threw all 11 away, and I bought a book called Think and Grow Rich. I bought a book called See You at the Top by Zigular. I started diving into the book called The Bible. Okay, I started diving into authors called Neville, Goddard, Florence, Shovalchinn. I started really reaching out to my resources to be able to take control of my inner self. So if you have post-traumatic stress disorder, if you know somebody with post-traumatic stress disorder, it is possible for healing. Healing is possible. If you need help, if you need direction, if you want to know exactly what I did to help myself, hit me up in the email. I'll be happy to coach you guys. And so post-traumatic stress disorder is nothing to play with. I know that's the most extreme form of depression and anxiety. Some people just have generalized anxiety. Some people have emotional disturbance disorder. Some people have bipolar. And I really feel that all of that is able to overcome. And the first thing you have to do is exactly what I did. I stopped identifying with the label of what they were telling me I am, and I started identifying with the label that God told me that I am. I said, yeah, I might have these symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, but guess what? I don't have post-traumatic stress disorder. It's affected me in some way because these memories are continuing to play out, but I have complete control to change the story. I do not have to stay in the same pattern of the story. It's called revision. Neville Goddard talked about revising the past. And people say, well, how are you going to go back in your memory and just remember something different? Easy. You go back, you start remembering something different and how you want it to go, and you keep it moving, and you're releasing yourself of that emotional bondage, right? It's like, oh, but this is what they said and I'm never going to let this go. Well, if you're never going to let it go, you're going to continue to always be in the state that you are in. So whatever you are, I'm not a medical professional, but I have been through the ringer, and I do know a little bit about the emotions and the spiritual well-being of the person. And the first thing we have to do is definitely we have to detach from the labels that the medical professionals can give us. Not saying that it's not important, but if you don't take ownership of it, then it's not yours. It's just something that you are experiencing. It doesn't belong to you, because that's not who God says you are. If you want to be healed, healing really starts in the mind, the imagination, the speech. A lot of people pray for healing. They say they believe for healing, but they're always on the phone talking about the ailment, or they're always thinking about the ailment. You know, they're always living in the ailment, walking in the ailment. The ailment becomes who they are. It becomes their identity. And then they end up passing away from the ailment. And I know people who can detach from the ailment, whatever the case may be, and experience supernatural healing. So take control of your life. You do not have to accept the labels that they're giving you, because you are, I am, no matter who we are, race, denomination, skin color, we are all children of the Most High. We are all created beings, and we have more power in our minds, more power in our breath, more power in our speech than we realize. So take control for yourself. Stop identifying with the problem and start identifying with the solution. All right, y'all, take care. Peace.